all enjoying the online videos of different teachers. I am back today. Today we will discuss about the crude oil reserves and groundwater in the sustainable development. In my last video, we have discussed about the meaning of sustainable development, isn't it? So what is sustainable development? It is the development of present. It should meet the needs of the present generation without compromising with the needs of the or without compromising with the ability of the future generation. Means we should use the natural resources and the environment in a smarter manner so that the future generations can also have a share in it. Dear children, we also started the concept of crude oil reserves. We all know that crude oil is of utmost importance in the present world. So the present generations, they are using the crude oil in the most important and for different purposes. So what are the most important concepts or what are the most important things why we are using the crude oil reserves? So here are some ways why we are using, how we are using. But children, one should remember, we are using the crude oil reserves, which are a very important natural resource, in such a way, very shortly we are going to finish off. So it may, one fine day, they may close off. So what happens next? What is the next era? How it should be? So there is a big question related to it. So here, what is the importance of crude oil in the day-to-day life? It is given here. Why it is used? See, crude oil, the total fuel required for transportation, out of that 97% of the fuel requirements are fulfilled by this crude oil. So here it is used for manufacturing of plastics, lubrication oil, petrochemicals, and in the petrochemicals further we can divide it into the form of pharmaceuticals, fertilizers, paints, cleaning chemicals, and so on. So this shows crude oil is used for many purposes in the day-to-day life. So here these are only very few examples. If we go on using the crude oil like this only, very shortly they may be exhausted, and in 53 years the crude oil reserves are going to be exhausted from the world itself. What next? This is the big question. That is why we are thinking about sustainable development. Children, what is the consequence if we go on use limitlessly, recklessly the crude oil reserves? How it may affect the economy of the world? What happens? See, there are some concepts here. So if we keep on using the crude oil reserves in a more reckless manner, what happens? There will be shortage of the oil, isn't it? So this shortage of the oil, it will lead to increase in the price. Of course, right? Obviously, with the shortage of oil, the price of the oil increases. What happens next? With the increase in the price of the oil, the regular commodities, the basic needs, all the goods and services, they become more and more costlier. So by becoming more costlier, what happens? It becomes extra burden on all the people. So finally, it leads for the financial crisis. So this is a concept which tells you about if we go on using the crude oil reserves in a more reckless manner, finally it will lead the world economy to a financial crisis situation. Children, the world crude oil reserves will last for another 53 years. Means in the coming days, if we go on using in the same way, the present oil reserves will last only for next 53 years. So there is the big challenge for us in the coming days. If these reserves get over, what next? What is the alternative? And here 1687.9 thousand million barrels of reserves present, that is as per the data of 2013. So this is a data which tells what is the present world crude oil reserves. It is as per 2013, means we have already passed another 7 years. That shows these reserves have once again come down. This is about the world crude oil reserves. One more important thing, the basic need for every person, that is the water. We will come on for this. So groundwater. All of us know that water is a basic thing. It is the lifesaver, life giver. Without water, we have nothing. There is no life without water on this planet. And Earth, it is called blue planet because of water. And life sustains on this planet because we have water on this Earth. Now, because of the overuse of water, we have exhausted even groundwater reserves. So there are some data here. See, the groundwater table, it has come down in the recent years. What is the reason? We have got different water sources, isn't it? Rivers, lakes, rainwater, like this. Because of the reckless and limitless use, and on the other side, deforestation, we could not conserve the water in a proper manner. Because of which, we are using groundwater in a more reckless manner. So, 300 districts of India have reported water decline of over 4 meters in the past 20 years. This is the data which tells in the last 20 years, nearly 300 districts of the country has reported decline in the water level up to 4 meters. You feel the seriousness of the problem. And if the same kind of use of groundwater, it goes on like this, another 25 years in future, 60% of the country will face water problem. We will face absolute water scarcity. And these are some states. Take example of Punjab and Western Uttar Pradesh. These are very prosperous states. They experimented with green revolution. Naturally, they also used the water for growing 2-3 crops like this in a year. What is the result? The groundwater has declined in a more severe manner in these prosperous states. These are some examples, and in the entire country I have given you the data. The groundwater is used in such a manner, very shortly country may face a severe water crisis. Children, how to conserve them? We have understood about groundwater decline and the crude oil resource decline. These are examples. There are so many things which are going to be declined. So how to preserve, how to conserve? These are some points here. So use the resources judiciously. You should be very, very smart in using these resources because they are the gift of nature. They are available in nature. You cannot create, you cannot form them. So use them judiciously. Evolving substitutes are alternatives. Take for example, for crude oil, think of solar resource, or think of wind energy, or think of tidal energy like this. Then use public transport. Instead of preferring for private transport, you can go for public transport so that oil can be preserved, it can be conserved. And use of 3 R's, you can think of recycling and then reusing. Like this, you can conserve the nature. Then finally, it is the community effort. Children, it is not the effort of a single individual or government or an organization to conserve the nature or the environment or to think of sustainable development. It is the efforts of the entire community. We people, I, you, everyone should take participate in conserving the nature, and we should always think of sustaining the development. That means you should preserve the nature and you should improve the country and even ourselves. So with these children, we have completed the lesson development, the first lesson of economics. You have understood meaning of development, criteria of development, goals of development, and here sustainable development. Hope you enjoyed all the videos related to this development lesson.